All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second inaugural live stream of the Classy Crypto Show. Oh my God, we're not Classy Crypto. I forgot. We actually rebranded recently to 𝐒𝐳. Isn't that crazy right there? We got a Roy branding there. I'm going to be touching base on the current trend in the crypto industry because a lot of people are sleeping on this right now, and they're still sleeping on it. Trust me, this is something that's not going to go away anytime soon. I'm going to be touching base on why I think that possibly, this might be a controversial take, crypto is not going to go back down, that we are strong as ever. And for those expecting a correction under 30,000 on Bitcoin, I don't think it's going to happen. I think crypto gaming is going to dominate the blockchain space in terms of transactions. And I also think that crypto gaming as a whole is absolutely going to tear this cycle. How you doing, Hanzo? How y'all doing? Today is Thanksgiving, and with all things Thanksgiving, we need to have the mandatory tweet, touching base on the cringe that is Thanksgiving. Where is this tweet? There it is. Okay, so there's this thing called Web3 gaming. It's the next big thing. This is going to be me over here in Thanksgiving table. I'm circling myself right here, and so I'm going to be talking to my parents about this stuff. They're going to be like, guys, didn't you tell me to buy Ethereum at $4,000? I'm just going to ignore that and continue talking about what I need to do over in the Thanksgiving table. Why is it so difficult right now to get a good buy zone? Well, the reality is that the reason for that is because people are too scared to buy. They see something up 100, 200%, and they're like, oh, screw that. But then they forget to look at the fact that, I mean, all of these tokens are severely undervalued, and they've been getting destroyed by the entire bear market this entire time when they've been building for God knows how long. So people are scared to get into these positions. These are positions that you had. How long did you have to DCA on this? You had like 1.5 years to literally DCA into this. That's how long you had in terms of bear market. Like, that's your DCA range. If this thing is uncomfortable for you, you don't have to invest your entire portfolio into it. You know, when I was talking about my top 10 crypto gaming tokens, which I got into every single one of these plays. And yes, I do own nodes in some of these plays. You see that it's literally up. What is this? 93% all-time profit. This is a sample portfolio. Trust me, I am sized in significantly more, but for example purposes, I went ahead and created this sample portfolio. Also, the tokens are up way more than 93% in the past month. This is a 2-week-old sample portfolio. 2-week old, and it's up 93%. I need to tell you guys that a lot of people were freaking out in my comment section as well as in my DMs talking about the dip that recently happened in terms of CZ and whether or not the crypto gaming bull run will continue. So this is why I wanted to do this live stream, to explain to people that it doesn't matter what's happening in the past 2 weeks, because these gains are awesome. I love them. 93%. I am not going to complain about a 10x gain on playable. Like, I'm not going to be one to complain about it, obviously, right? I own nodes, I own tokens, etc., etc. And yes, I have taken some profit. I have taken some moon bags. And when you're up 1,000%, you should probably do that. But what am I doing to get ready for the next cycle? And why do I think the next cycle is still possible? Mirria playable. AFC are doing, yeah, everything's doing amazing, okay? So let's talk about this thing about crypto gaming. There are cycles in crypto. I know you've seen it a million times. If you're new to crypto, though, you probably haven't seen it yet. Every single 4-year cycle has been almost identical to some degree, and it's insane, right? Altcoin Daily saying, mainstream media refuses to show you this, and I kind of agree, right? 2011, we had a bear cycle, right? Boom. Moon, bear, lasted for a bit. Then we had accumulation and then bull market that lasted forever. Great for you guys over 2011, but guess what? Volume comes in, makes it a little bit harder. 2014 to 2017 was one of the most important ones because it showed us how a regular cycle should perform. You had the bear market, it lasted for quite some time. We had accumulation, it lasted forever. And then we had a bull market, right? And then it went up, boom, boom, everybody was happy, 10x gains. And then this one, which is the 2018 one, was a little bit more controversial because we had something called COVID, right? And COVID made it a little bit more complicated for the bull market. Who even knows what the all-time high of Bitcoin would have been had COVID not happened? But at the same time, if there were no stimulus checks, who knows if the capital would have even entered to make this possible? Because guess what? 80% of all fiat US dollars have been created out of thin air over the past couple years, which means there's a lot of capital a lot more capital than people even think is imaginable, just sitting out there in some dude's wallet. Maybe it's a VC, maybe it's not a VC. Who cares if it's a VC? So let's look at the current cycle. Right now, this is 2022 to 2025 is what we're thinking. The bear market lasted long. This is the longest bear market in crypto history. So when we actually go ahead and think of this accumulation phase, I do think the accumulation phase is going to be significantly shorter. We're already seeing it. A lot of pumping is happening. Some people were calling for a correction on Bitcoin. I was calling for a minor correction on crypto gaming altcoins. It happened. I'm happy with that correction. And at this point, I am thinking that we are entering that bull phase probably sooner rather than later. Like, I think we're pretty much there. Like, I think that 40K break on Bitcoin and that crypto gaming altcoin season is so much closer than people are anticipating that I think it's going to scare them because they're so used to these accumulation phases lasting until the halving when we've had a bear market that is like twice the length of the average bear market. We've already been through our tribulations. We've been through the suffering. It's time to get to that bull market. So I'm thinking that December historically has been an incredible month for Bitcoin. I think it's going to be even better for crypto games. And I mean, if we look at ETFs and how they've performed, you see a 300, is that a 300 or 5? I don't know what that is, but gold did really well when it had an ETF introduced. Bitcoin, it did pretty much nothing because it hasn't happened. And so when this happens, because a lot of this run is predicated on that ETF happening, people are putting 99% odds. You know, BlackRock is doing an ETF listing. They've only been rejected once in their entire company's history. So they've got a lot of leverage over at the SEC and the people that need to be heard. And that's one of the reasons that I think that they are going to have a very high likelihood, if not 100%, of an ETF listing happening in Q1 of 2024, which is going to cement the bull run pretty much. We go burr, right? It's pretty much what's going to happen after that. Once the institutions come in, it's going to be a big deal. And something I will give you in terms of alpha, because I know you're here for alpha, this is pretty old news. This is from November 9th, 2023, but I want to give the message that not only is it the Roblox CEO looking into NFTs, but it's the overall crypto space completely ignoring, in terms of like crypto Twitter, completely ignoring the fact that all of these major institutions already have teams looking into NFTs. There are plenty of job boards out there talking about onboarding people that are cryptographically inclined, that they understand the cryptocurrency space, that they're Web3 gaming focused. That is already a thing. And I've talked to companies, and trust me when I tell you, they are coming to our industry. It is a ticking time bomb. And if you're not convinced by me, maybe you're going to be convinced by the Roblox CEO.
Do you ever see a moment where the platform itself becomes more open in the idea that, you know, your currency is something called Robux, and whether those Robux could be used off platform, whether we've talked about NFTs and things that could live inside Roblox, but then get moved on to somebody else's platform or, you know, in other ways?
Yeah, I want to highlight there's a bit of a dream here about objects and NFTs moving from platform to platform. We do believe someday, for example, you know, I use the fun use case that someday Elton John may come on Roblox and make 8 or 10 1-unit really cool capes, for example, and sell them for charity. And we would imagine someday that those would go off platform as an NFT, possibly get sold off platform, and then come back on platform. What we do expect is the creators, whether it's Elton John or Nike or someone else making a digital item, that they would play a key role and have a fair amount of control in that process.
Isn't that crazy? He's already explored this in depth. I mean, this guy, he knows what he's talking about. When someone knows what they're talking about and they're in that elevated of a position and they're leading the world in digital collectibles, they have more than looked into the NFT space and the current technology stack to be able to absolutely kill it. When we're looking at all of these different tokens, let me tell you something that might sober you. You know, stuff that hasn't had a bull cycle yet is going to outperform likely all of those older tokens. Maybe some of them are going to go ahead and surprise you, but more than likely, we're going to see a lot of these different companies begin to enter our space through venture capital investing, through advisory, through integrating and partnering with some of these chains that have survived, like Immutable X and Gala Chain and all those different things. in terms of infrastructure plays that are safe, right? That are consistent, because these legacy companies are looking into the crypto space, and they're more than looking. They're tapping into it. They're investing into all these different things. You should know a little bit about Roblox, because if you look into Axie Infinity and 𝐒𝐈𝐿, they may or may not have had a bit of a role in that one right there. But let's talk about some other things, because it's not just them. It's Gala. I mean, Gala's saying we have almost 50 PR-worthy announcements about companies coming to Gala Chain. Army of Fortune is having the first big listing December. No, I heard about that as well. I'm looking to see that one. Usually what happens on big listings like Army of Fortune is it'll have a big rocket, and then it's going to immediately dump for a while. It's going to go down like 30 to 50% or something like that. And then you'll either have that slow accumulation over time, or you're just going to have an immediate breakout. So I'm looking to play it after the listing, probably after that first correction is what I usually do. So let's talk about Binance, because, well, Binance, right? That's what that woman said, Binance. Binance CEO resigned. I think this is mega bullish for crypto. A lot of people were really confused when I said that, because this guy's a big deal. CZ has done a lot for the crypto space. He stepped down as CEO recently. He's thinking of doing some advisory stuff. He went ahead and onboarded Richard as the brand new CEO of Binance. This is important, because if you're trying to get those crypto gaming tokens on there, then you've got to be even more compliant, because Richard ain't taking any risk right here. This guy is the definition of the former CEO of Financial Services Regulatory Authority, ADGM. They ain't risking anything. They are not risking anything. Playable correction only lasted a day. It's going to hit 170 before Monday. Dude, come on. Line go burr, right? Someone was doing technical analysis on the Discord, and I was like, dude, come on. And these corrections aren't lasting. And people have been waiting too long for this. People are frustrated. They're just degenning in. So we had a lawsuit recently come up. This is Kraken. They sued Kraken, and they're alleging that all these cryptocurrencies are securities, which is, I find that hilarious. But it's Cardano, AXS, Algorand. We have Cosmos Hub. We have Chiliz. We have COTI, Dash, some old cryptocurrencies, Filecoin, Flow, ICP, Mana, crypto gaming, right? Matic could debate crypto gaming. They're kind of fumbling the ball a little bit. We got Near, OMG. We've got Sand and Solana, which is a big crypto gaming narrative right now. We just covered Aurora yesterday, and that's why I'm excited for Solana. So that happened, and what did people do when they heard about the news? Did they freak out and dump all of their Solana, or did it just do nothing? Yeah, it did nothing is the answer to that one. People don't care about that news anymore. All that stuff is totally benign. It's just something that happened at some point, and people cared about it, but now people are sure that none of these cryptocurrencies are securities for the most part, so they are moving past that, and they are out of it. So let's talk about trends. I'm really bullish on Web3 gaming node ecosystems. I don't know if you've noticed that, but it's a big reason why I cover Gala. It's a big reason why I was so bullish on Playable. I first talked about Playable back in August. The price had a 0 and had like a 5 on it. It was way early. It was like a 1.5 million, so early, ridiculously early, hitting its lows. And I talked to the team, and they were like, "Oh, dude, we got this node ecosystem, and we're building out these games and all these different things." And I'm like, okay, like there's something here, right? There's an ecosystem with a bunch of people that have been waiting for a long time that are getting impatient, and they want to have things done. So when they released their game, when they went ahead and did the node sale, that's a perfect catalyst. You go burr. Mirria, something very similar. People are getting frustrated. We're getting that little bit of a bull cycle. Node ecosystems are starting to run. And then we got today a bit of a run on Mirria. I mean, let's be honest, 16%. It's not the craziest gains in the world. But for the day, on Mirria, that's pretty good. On the past month, it's up 200%. Disclosure, I own Mirria nodes, right? Like, I bought these Mirria nodes with my own hard-earned cash. And, I'm looking forward to this ecosystem. The ROI is still pretty absurd on the nodes, so I wouldn't tell people to grab nodes, right? But it is, if this thing 2x's, then definitely it's something to explore. I think nodes like $4,550 or something like that right now. But you've seen, like, even Gala, which is going through a bunch of stuff right now, is up 67% on 30 days. Playable is up 1,391%. And the Mirria is up 205%. So very good performance right now for node ecosystems. I think this is going to continue. I think we're going to see a new one coming right up real soon, because there's quite a few ecosystems exploring nodes, right? A lot of people are commenting on the comment section about cornucopias and several things. Like, they're not the only ones talking about nodes right now. There's plenty of different ecosystems that are exploring nodes, which is very exciting. I think I'm super bullish on node ecosystems. It kind of defines you different because of the fact that you, first off, are bootstrapping off the community, and the community is double inclined to make it work. And talking about opportunities, Gala just announced possibly their largest game release, and no one is talking about it. I mean, I was shocked when I heard about this. No one is talking about this right now. It's Eternal Paradox. I played the playtest on Eternal Paradox. This is a finished product. This is a good product that is going to be launching next month on mobile, iOS and Android. Yeah. A 4X grand strategy game. Those games are usually dominated by like US groups. You've got Koreans and Chinese and all these different things, and just massive whales from all sides clashing together to destroy amongst the whole cycle, and then the season restarts and, you know, you go ahead and do it again. So they're targeting a December 5th launch date, and they're having a grand opening for their Mercenaries, which is coming up. I know how people feel about this, right? But the people that got into the last Gala release on mobile, which is called Champions Arena, made an absolute killing off of flipping Nexus bundles. These things cost around $1,000, and people were fighting it. They were like, "Oh, but Gala, it's bad because, you know, the price is too expensive, and we're not going to be able to onboard the gamers." And then I'm like, bro, I don't care if we're onboarding gamers or not. Well, I kind of do a little bit, right? But if I'm investing, like if I'm putting my capital into it, I'm not putting my capital into something because I think the game's cool. I'm putting my capital into it because I think a lot of people are going to play this game. I think a lot of people are going to speculate on this thing, and there's an opportunity there. And there was a massive opportunity with Nexus bundles. People bought them for $1,000, and the assets on there ended up being worth $5,000 to $10,000 on launch. That was a 5 to 10x immediately off of launch. So you can argue all day whatever you want about Gala and the coin and what it's going to do, but there is no denying that these bundles at their current prices are insane. So they're going to be doing the sale today. It's November 23rd at 6 p.m. Eastern time. They're going to be selling these things called mercenary tomes, and they're going to be crucial for the Eternal Paradox reward economy. And before someone goes, "Oh, but you're shilling NFTs," I've made most of my money through NFTs. Of course I'm going to be talking about NFTs. I love tokens and I make money on tokens, but NFTs are really the bulk of it. People don't understand how to trade NFTs, which is the big problem. When you understand how to trade an NFT, then opportunities arise. The more complicated something is to make money off of, the more opportunity there is for someone to exploit that and make significant capital. So here are the details on the sale. So it's going to be $290, but the pre-launch sale price is $199, so $200. The sell price of the Champions Arena boxes, which are different from the Nexus bundles, I remember they were somewhere around $150 to $180, so something very similar to this one. It also had a very similar supply. On launch on Champions Arena, those boxes ended up being worth somewhere around $300 to $450. I forget how much exactly, but it was like 0.2 to 0.3 ETH or something like that at the time. So it was worth quite a bit more than its sale price if you got in and you sold on launch and you didn't open the box. Because if you open the box, there's usually somewhere around the 60% EV, a 60% chance of you actually losing. People are scared of Gala because of the co-founder's lawsuit. No, I get that, Adam, 100%. But, I mean, I don't care necessarily about getting into opportunities and just hopping on it and doing my thing, right? Like, I'm going to take that. I bought Gala at 1.5 cents. Everybody was telling me the same thing. 𝐒𝐲, you're ridiculous for doing that. You're delusional and blah, 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 right? And then the price almost doubled. So you can think what you want, but price is doing what it's doing. So these mercenaries will have boosts depending on rarity, so Wells will obsess over them. And by the way, that lawsuit, it's not going to end anytime soon. Whatever's happening right now is completely irrelevant to whatever that lawsuit is. So I'm going to be grabbing a few of these, and I'm surprised that Gala is selling them this cheap. They're notorious for selling things at a much higher valuation, thousands of dollars. So them doing it at this supply, I know for a fact this is going to sell out, which is a good thing. I want it to sell out. I want there to be hype there. That's exactly what happened with Champions Arena boxes. And so, hope so? Of course. I mean, of course you could be wrong, and that's just kind of part of playing the game. But if you're going to be grabbing one of these guys, like, use the damn link. It's in the description of all my Gala videos. ClassyCrypto.com/GalaGames. Support the channel. And we made a killing. We made an absolute killing off the Champions Arena one. So I'm going to be grabbing some of these boxes for sure. And I'm going to be covering it. So that's that. And the next thing I wanted to talk about is mentality. Now, I don't want to bash Jerry, but Jerry is a guy that hates 99.9% of cryptocurrencies, okay? He thinks everything's a bad crypto to buy. And I understand, fundamental analysis is a wonderful thing, but it doesn't work with cryptocurrencies. They don't care about fundamental analysis. The degens, if there's speculation to be had, they will be doing it. If there is a game that's pretty solid, which I think the PvP beta for 𝐒𝐢𝐕, it's not, triple A guide, it's better than TFT, but it is a very acceptable product. And you'll see it on November 28th. I've already gone ahead and played it, so I'm not talking out of my ass here. But there's plenty of YouTubers that are very against many different cryptocurrencies, but except the one that they own. Like, if you're talking about ICP, Jerry loves ICP because of a million different reasons and all these different things. But if you look at the chart of 𝐒𝐢𝐕 and we compare the monthly, so 𝐒𝐢𝐕 on the month is up 127%. ICP on the month is up 37%. Clearly, right? They got totally wrecked. In the past year, this thing's up 21%. What's 𝐒𝐢𝐕 up? I don't know, 153%. So clearly, completely getting dumpstered. Your mentality, a lot of people are very negative on these cryptocurrencies for many different reasons. They're freaking out about these things. But if you are overall bearish on markets, if you are bearish on 99% of cryptocurrencies, you are not going to make it. Now, there is a difference between being bearish on a cryptocurrency and bearish on the 2 to 5 year outlook on a cryptocurrency. Because to say that 𝐒𝐢𝐕 was a bad crypto to buy at $40 is the most ridiculous thing to ever say. I mean, it's at $40. That thing was at $1,000 at some point through hyperinflation. 𝐒𝐢𝐕 is still building, right? They're still doing their thing. So there's many different cryptocurrencies out there that are getting the same narrative where people are still doing this to this day, where they're saying, for example, like Gala is a big one, which I think that's why Gala is going to absolutely rip it next, bull market, because I think people are over exaggerating on the situation that's happening. I understand why people are worried, but I think that because people are over-exaggerating, there's an opportunity in the market where a lot of people are scared to buy, so you're buying in before people are even, able to get the courage to buy in, and that's where you get these massive, massive gains. That's how it works in these markets. So 𝐒𝐢𝐕 before the 28th November event. Yeah, Sareem, I made a video on the 3 crypto gaming tokens you should look at for short term. 𝐒𝐢𝐕 was one of them. I said exactly that. So I would say that you should at least take profit. We're up somewhere around 20%. I remember I bought as somewhere around like $82 to $84. So I'm definitely going to be taking profit. I might have like a little bit of a moon bag there in case it randomly does things. But yes, I will definitely be taking some sort of profit leading into it, because even if the product is good, usually launches are buy the rumor, sell the news. That's how they work. They have a correction and then they continue to go up. So 𝐒𝐢𝐕 could easily go 150 on launch. That's not something I'd be surprised of. I do think we're going to have a correction before we get there though. So after we have that correction, I'm 100% going to continue to buy more 𝐒𝐢𝐕. That's like 𝐒𝐢𝐕 is a good long-term play for me. I own quite a bit of it. So let's get into the next thing. I don't own these NFTs, but these are Aurora NFTs. This is a cycle that people, I think, aren't covering on YouTube at all. These are NFTs. NFTs are coming back. NFT volume is going up like crazy. If we look at the top cryptocurrencies, it might show up on the 24. Okay, it's not showing up. But Blur had an absolute behemoth run over the past month. No one was expecting this. So it was over at the 23-cent mark, right? This is Blur. It's worth $500 million. Went up all the way to 46 cents leading into this airdrop. Airdrop happens. People start going crazy on the FUD. They're like, oh, but this thing's going straight to zero. If you held your airdrop, you're doing pretty good. And yeah, very far from whatever the heck that was, right? But it is doing very well. And so what this means is that there's a lot of interest in NFTs right now. And another good narrative to look at is ordinals. Where's the ordinal token? The ordinal token went completely crazy because it got listed on a bunch of centralized exchanges. I mean, look at this. It's practically at all-time highs. No one would have expected at the beginning of the month that this would happen. It was at $5. Now it's at $21. There is volume coming into the NFT space again. And some of these crypto games that have volume already, like Aurora, are going to kill it in this bull cycle. I mean, we're already seeing it with Neo Tokyo. Neo Tokyo, it's at what, like an 18 ETH floor or something absolutely ridiculous? Yeah, it's at 18 ETH. Right now, to grab one of these, you have to pay $37,000 for an S1. Obviously, S2s are different, but to get into the actual thing, right, $37,000. This is something that is going to continue to accrue value. I still think these are undervalued, by the way, which I think is an absurd thought to have at this time in the cycle. But I do think crypto gaming is that undervalued that the second someone comes back, you're just going to absolutely kill it right now. Do I have any codes for Aurora? I mean, I can paste you all the codes I got, but I mean, I got no promises for you is all I got to say. Let me do it for you all. I will give you codes. Now, I have no promises on whether or not they've been used or not, but I have 50 codes. So let me go ahead and slap them all in the chat just for you guys. I'm pretty sure they're used though, but just in case they are not, I've got y'all with the hookup. I put a bunch of codes on my latest video, but I'm pretty sure those are also used as well. So take it with a grain of salt is all I'm trying to say. But anyway, let's go ahead and do a little bit of Q&A. If you have any questions on your favorite cryptocurrencies, I'm going to begin to get those. Have you heard of HXD? I actually haven't heard of HXD. Honeyland, is that a crypto game? Usually what I do is I don't play around with things that are at a 150,000 market cap, only because I feel like the risk to reward ratio a lot of the time with smaller projects isn't there. I saw the fully diluted, it's much higher, and I'm sure there's more to it. And I'm not roasting the project at all, but just generally for me, when I'm thinking about what I want to get into in terms of speculative plays, I want to see at least like a 2 to 10 million market cap, because at that point, if they've raised money, right? Usually these crypto games, they raise tons of money, or these gaming studios, the valuations that they're at makes a ton more sense. But when a project just launches and it has a very low market cap and it barely raised less than $1 million, the chances, the odds of them failing are just too high for me to get into right now, at least. So GFAL, so games for a living is an interesting one. I talked about games for a living pretty recently. This is one that I think a lot of people are getting the tokenomics wrong on. If you look at the white paper, I think I should be able to actually show this to you all on the GFAL token. Is it there? Uses and benefits, issuance, token distribution. Okay, there it is. Beautiful. So a lot of people were fighting it because there is a very low percentage of the circulating supply out there. The take is that this isn't going to matter in the next bull market. By the time we end this bull market, they would have maybe 2x'd in tokens. Who cares? Like, nobody cares. 2x in circulating supply is like, it's normal in the crypto space. And if there's a bull market coming, then a 2x is nothing. If these tokens are supposed to 10, 50, 100x, which a 100x on games for a living would be pretty crazy, but hey, I wouldn't be complaining, right? Then, you know, a 2x in circulating supply doesn't matter at all, is what I'm trying to say. Right now, it's on the BNB Smart Chain, which is very interesting. A lot of crypto games are in the BNB Smart Chain. I do think Binance is going to stick it around. I don't know if they're going to be a leader in the crypto gaming space. What I think is going to happen is a lot of these different cryptocurrency projects are going to become chain agnostic, leading into the next bull run, where they're just not going to care about the chain. They're just going to be universal. They're going to have subnets, like the AVAX subnet, for example, if we're talking about Beam, where you're just not going to pay gas fees, right? You're going to have free gas fees. You're going to be able to interact with these chains, make income. There's some people that will FUD the fact that you aren't making any money off transactions in games, but the main value accrual shouldn't be people transacting per se, in the sense that it's gas fees, but more so in the NFT marketplace, where they're taking, 4, 5, 10% cuts on every sale to be able to continue to fund their game, or maybe something in the tokenomics to structure to give slow value accretion, I think is the accumulation for the actual team, which is okay, I guess, but I'd rather you get most of the money off of marketplace fees, which is a good, a good place to go. I mean, Axie Infinity, right? How to play Aurora, 𝐒𝐬𝐧 or 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗓. Very easy. Just go to the Aurora website, right? And then you click the Play Now button. And then you press Play Now. And I think if it tells you don't have an early access code, you just put it there. That's pretty much what I did, right? And then just press Play Now and you're in there. It's pretty easy. So how do you feel about the Rep app powered by Gala? Now, Nikki, that's a good question, because I am going to have a controversial opinion here. I think the nodes have a pretty crazy valuation. I don't own a rep node right now, only because I would rather wait and see the actual application live and see if people actually want to adopt it. I'd rather buy a rep node at double the valuation it's worth right now if I know for sure it's going to work out. A great example of that was Playable. Playable was doing its thing for a bit, and then it kind of died out. I was waiting for it to have a heartbeat again. The second it had a heartbeat again, I was like, okay, let's double down, let's get into this, and let's absolutely kill it. I bought it at a higher valuation, but I also knew that the likelihood of my play working out was significantly higher. Now, whether or not they can actually go through with a decentralized social media platform like Elon Musk has been talking about 3 billion different times is up to interpretation. I do think that Niall is a good guy. I think that the people building Rep have good intentions. And I think that if Gala ends up succeeding, that Rep will be a beneficiary of that. Remember, they're not the same thing. But I'm just waiting. I think I'm very patient when it comes to those things, because there's a big difference of me talking about something with like a $200 valuation for a mercenary tome versus like a rep node that's $2,500 and now it's like almost $3,000 or something like that. So I'm waiting patiently to see what happens there, but of course I have it on my radar. Obviously, I mean, if there's a social media platform on Gala, obviously I want to be a part of it, right? And I'm gonna want to have my own thing. So Dami Online, Manny, I want to cover Dami Online. That's a good one because not because I'm actually like super crazy on the token, but because it recently got covered by a crypto influencer. It recently got covered by Alex Becker. And just the mention of Dami Online has sent this thing absolutely skyrocketing. When you look at the volume over here, it was already doing pretty decent. The second that Avalanche started pumping, the Avalanche gaming narrative really took its wings. It's up almost what... No, it is literally up 10x, 13x in the past month. It's doing incredibly well. You've got to ask yourself, is this narrative going to continue? Are people going to trend hop to something else? Is Dami Online ready for a full release of their game? You know, the answer is no. They're still very early on in alpha. They're on Trader Joe, Gate.io, some of the very smaller exchanges, mostly just on decentralized exchanges. This is an extremely early project. So, you know, what I would like to see is probably the fuller game. Like, I'd want to see a beta version with some partnerships with some major players and the continued coverage of it. Because the main reason this pumped is because an influencer mentions it and it pumps. The project, I'm sure, is wonderful, but, I mean, let's be honest. The reason it pumped was because it was mentioned. So, I'm waiting to see if there's longevity here. If there's longevity here, heck yeah, I want to get into some Dami Online. There's plenty of different tokens out there, though. So, I'm not really too... You know, I'm not in a rush to get into these plays that have gone up a lot or anything. Because, I mean, first off, we have our moonbags already. And there's just too many damn tokens out there. Way too many tokens out there. So you put the code there? Exactly, yeah. I put like 50 codes. So, I mean, if you got in, you got in. Beam or Gala if you're going to choose? Oh, boy. I don't know. That's not a good question to ask me. Listen, I'm like, I love Gala, you know? I would never choose... Beam over Gala, only because I love the Gala ecosystem. I love the Gala community. I love what they're doing, but I also like infrastructure plays. I love Beam. I love what Beam's doing. I still think Beam is undervalued. I think in terms of potential in a bull cycle, it really depends. I think Beam is a safer play, obviously, right? Gala is a more controversial play, but the potential for Gala is significantly higher. So it's like risk to reward. Do you think that the risk of getting into Gala now when all the FUD is still here and people are still freaking out about it, but they've got a lot of awesome things going on in Gala Film and Gala Music and Gala Chain and a million different PR-worthy announcements, do you think they're going to go through with that? If so, Gala's way better of a choice. If not, if you think it's too much of a risk, then Beam is a better choice. But I own both of them, so I don't have to make that decision. I do not believe in picking one token. I just don't see that as a viable strategy at all. When I cover things, there's a reason I covered 10 different crypto gaming tokens on my videos. It's because of the fact that I do not believe in a world where you just own 3, size and fully, have conviction, and you're done. If Playable 10x's, which it did, then it covers for all of the other plays on there. And the likelihood of the other plays doing something is high too. I mean, GameSwift is up 128%. We've got Prime, which is up, 128% as well. Funny. Merit Circle's up 76. The worst performer is up 17% over the last 2 weeks. So they've all been doing really well. Why would I choose one over the latter? I'm going to go ahead, grab all these. I'm going to have my moon bags, and I'm going to cycle into new trends, because you have to cycle into new trends over and over and over. You do not want to be stuck in an old trend that 10x'd, and now it's going to do nothing for the next 6 months. A good story to give you is a story that happened with Bitcoin last cycle, where Bitcoin had an absolutely phenomenal run, and then right after it had that run, right, mid-run, Ethereum started running like crazy in the beginning of 2021. And then after Ethereum started running, it's a cycle, right? After Ethereum started running, this is about a month in. You could actually see the times. It was around the 9th when Ethereum started running, $43 BNB. And then at the end of the month, it was worth the next month, right? $332. $332. So people are cycling into these plays constantly, into different plays over and over and over. We're seeing it right now with Solana and Avalanche, where AVAX is absolutely killing it over the past month. Solana is absolutely killing it. I'm sure there's going to be more plays out there. Polygon has needed a pump for a very long time. Polygon deserves it. But Polygon, it's not its era yet. So you would have been really frustrated if you held Polygon. You'd still be down over the year, which is understandable. It's just not Polygon's time to shine. So we need to get into all these different plays, because we need to be able to catch whatever trend is happening at any given time and be able to focus on it. Because if you're just holding 3 tokens, you're only consuming content on 3 tokens. What I do every single day, I literally have people on my team doing research constantly about different crypto gaming tokens. This is my livelihood. There's a reason that I have an advantage over the market. There's a reason that I've made really good money off of this. And some people will go, oh, but when have you lost money in the crypto gaming space? I'll tell you. I mean, I lost my entire investment in Theta Arena. It wasn't much. I lost, what? I lost money on spider tanks, right? I didn't lose too much, so it was like a 10% drop, because I understand these markets. It's not like I am impatient and I just get into every opportunity I see. I don't do that. I look at them, I wait for confirmations, and then I get into them after I understand that the likelihood of me winning is much higher than the likelihood of me losing. It's like when technical analysis people go out there and they talk about the fact that, oh, I need to make sure I have a 2-to-1 risk to reward on my trade, or a 4-to-1 risk to reward on my trade. I do the same thing, but I say screw the technical analysis. I don't care about that. I care about the narratives, and I care about the fundamental analysis, what the company is actually going to be doing over the next couple months to years to be able to actually make this thing work. Do they have the runway to survive? Are they out there and having someone solid in the social media department making things happen in marketing? Are they creating programs? Are they getting investors to be able to get those connections that they so desperately need with key opinion leaders? These are all things that I look at. And then another thing, what's on your next on your shopping list? I'll tell you. So the other thing for me is, like, a lot of people, this is a funny thing, by the way. You guys, by the way, are on the stream, so you got to like the stream so more people watch crypto gaming content, because you want everybody to watch the crypto gaming content, don't you? But a big indicator is our channel. Literally, our channel has gone up 300% in views over the past month. That is a key indicator that this industry is nowhere near dying. This industry is blowing up right now. Crypto gaming is going to dominate the narrative. And these channels that are getting in the early, the investors, the people that are looking into this stuff while other people are ignoring it, are going to kill it. Honestly, it's going to get to the point where anything you touch is just going to work. I mean, all these 10 tokens are going up. You could have chosen anything and probably been up. So as long as you have the conviction to stick to these plays and not just completely paper handed. By the way, if you're paper handed, just grab a node. Roll the profits into a node. That's what I do. I'm notorious for paper hands. I took a ton of profit on Playable, but I own a ton of nodes, so I don't care. I'm just gonna keep doing my thing, right? I've got a ton of node exposure, so I'm not worried about it. So you've got to roll over your profits into things you think will work, into longer term things, passive income. Short term always goes to long term. That's the idea. We're still really early in the cycle, though, so you don't really need to worry about it too much. You need to just worry about the next thing. So let's keep taking these things. Let's keep taking some questions. New Tokyo Bytes. So Bytes did really well. You know, I'm not going to deny this thing is, it's hitting new highs. So the floor for the actually Neo-Tokyo citizens that are getting these bytes and everything, it's really high. You know, it's 18 Ethereum. Are we going to 2x? Likely. Sure. Probably. What is the likelihood of Neo-Tokyo citizens 10xing in the next couple months? That would be insane. 370,000 floor would be, I mean, I guess it's possible, right? Anything is possible in this world. But it's just the likelihood of it isn't very high. This thing has run up incredibly well. Is there arbitrage opportunities? Is this thing going to 4x versus Neo-Tokyo citizens 2xing? Yeah, sure, I could see that. I do think, though, we kind of missed the boat on this one. I want to see a correction of some sort. Maybe I'm just coping at this point, right? That's probably what it is. But I just wouldn't grab this right now. I would definitely grab it if it, you know, went down 50, 70%. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. Trust me, I want to own a Neo-Tokyo citizen. So if it goes down 50, 70%, I will probably be grabbing one. So this is something that I think I probably faded, so I wouldn't get into right now. But something that I'm looking at. It's definitely on my watch list. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. After this stream, I'm going to get off. I'm out of here. I'm going to spend time with the family. The number one thing that you need to focus on all of this is that, you know, no matter what you're doing, your focus in life, it's making money to some extent. But the real focus, the number one focus is being with family. You know, take advantage of the fact that you have loved ones that are there for you every single day, that put up with your shenanigans and support you to the fullest, because they are the people that make things possible. So, you know, I'm going to be spending a lot of time with my family here. You know, I haven't been able to have a lot of breaks. I'm really excited though, because I mean, we're literally hitting all-time high viewership on this stream right now once again, which I think is awesome. And I appreciate the heck out of, because you guys make it possible. But spending a lot of time with my family. So WAGMI Games, Joni, let's look at WAGMI Games. They've got to fix that ticker symbol. What is this? What am I looking at right now? Okay, so this thing's at the 15s. It's at a pretty decent valuation. I'm net bull on WAGMI. I think they're gonna have some pretty big releases at the end of this year. So I'm excited for that. I also don't think they're overvalued. I think this valuation is perfectly fine for what WAGMI is building out right now, and what community they have gone ahead and fostered. So this is something that I am actually actively looking into positioning into, because I think they kind of missed the trend. They're up 81%, but to be honest, 81% in this market for something that's only worth $27 million is not that crazy for me. Like I am looking into WAGMI to buy into these things. I'm also looking into the founders packs, the NFTs, to find if there are any opportunities there. I know people have made a good amount of money actually playing the game. So maybe there's some kind of arbitrage opportunity there, getting some scholars to play the game. But as it stands, I am looking into this position. If it gets back to the 12s, I'm probably going to get some sort of small bag on it. Did the alpha full? No, the thing is probably the codes expired, or someone used them, right? Diamond boxes on Gala are insane right now. Oh yeah, Cheer Bandit, you're right. So these are off 25% or something like that. By the way, if you guys are doing it, you got to use code Classy. Black Friday specials, that's what it is. Supplies are limited. Yeah, Cheer Bandit, you got to tell everybody to use my code, or else I will FUD spider tanks. 812. Okay, so they're not selling that crazy. They're selling pretty decently, but it's not like they're about to sell out tomorrow, right? These are worth a good amount of Gala too, so it's not like they're cheap or anything. The big thing about this, which by the way, Chair Bandit, I thought was the most stupid idea in the world, was that they give 32,000 Gala with a 42% chance. So you pay 40,000 Gala, you're gonna get 3 of these. I think so. I think it's 2 or 3 of these, and you have a 42% chance of getting 32,000 Gala. So you pretty much get your entire purchase price back. These are weird. I don't understand them too well, but if you're getting into these ecosystems, like, this is so stupid. Like, it's so stupid, the value on these things. So maybe I should open one of these. Would you guys be down to see it? Am I logged in? I'm not logged in. Okay, maybe we're not doing it then. But I'll do it for my next video. I'll open one of these things up, and we'll see how it goes. Because Black Friday is a thing right now on Gala. They're giving stuff for 25% off. And if you don't use code Classy, I hope your turkey is dry. You guys got to make sure that the turkey's all right. What market cap do you think Playable and Shrapnel can reach peak bull run? Good question. So Playable right now, this is, by the way, the wrong market cap. I'm going to teach you guys. Sometimes the market cap ain't right. So this is 54 million. This might be right, actually. Am I wrong? CoinGecko had a different number on this. Oh, they fixed it. Huh. I take everything I just said back. Okay. Yeah. They have a 54 million market cap, dude. They are pretty high up there, right? I would say, you know, when these gaming studios build out products that people are actually going to use, then the valuations of these things could go astronomical. The circulating supply of this thing is going to increase 10% every year, so you might as well not even call the thing inflationary. It's practically non-existent in comparison to most of the crypto space. It's rank number 462. Dude, this is something that could easily 10x in a bull cycle. Like, it's already 10x'd. So if it 10x'd again, then I would have 100x'd on my bag. And that's about right? But I think even a 10x is very conservative as a bet for some of these crypto gaming ecosystems, but it's just what I'm going to put out there. I'm going to put it out there. You have to use code classy there. Hell yeah. We're going to talk about Mirria. We haven't talked about Mirria. I'll talk about Mirria for a little bit because it's been running a lot. I talked about the crypto gaming narrative with tokens and nodes. I thought that was super exciting. So let's talk about Mirria. So this thing's up 20% right now. Over the past month, it's been killing it. Everybody loves it. The people that don't own Mirria hate Mirria because of the fact that they're going to say, but it's shady. But, you know, I hate the fact that it's super duper sus. And I'm super sussed out because of the fact that the games haven't come out. And do they even actually own the games? This thing's trash. And I'm like, you can think whatever the heck you want, but it's worth $46 million. It is up, I don't even know how much at this point. It's up like 500% from its lows. And it is killing it. Sorry to say it. Maybe you're stuck coping for the rest of your life, but this is something that's going to hit a new high. I don't want to be the one to tell you. I own 4 nodes of this thing. That's what, 4,500 each of these nodes, $18,000 worth of nodes. Yeah, I'm bagged up. Okay, so whatever the heck this thing does, Classy is going to be very happy with the resolution of whatever it is. And Zoro donating $5. Happy Thanksgiving, Hazes. Hell yeah, dude! I'm so excited. Right after I get off the stream, I'm gonna do one video that I gotta upload later today, and I am out of here. I'm going to spend so much time. You've got to take care of your mental health during these cycles. There is no universe I would have survived on this planet, I swear to God, during this bear market, if it weren't for all the people supporting me. So it's important to get those people around you and appreciate them, because the only way you're going to be making these gains is if your head is in the right place. If your head ain't in the right place, you are not going to make rational decisions. It's like when I used to do leverage trading on SLP back in the day. I would, for breeding, right? I would just 10x SLP because I knew, you know, they were artificially pumping and dumping it constantly because of updates and different things like that, which is a narrative that's probably going to come back in the bull market, by the way, because people are going to be like, oh, but these centralized games, they should go ahead and control the economies. And I'm like, all right. But if you see it randomly pumping, you probably know something's coming up. There's insider trading. Always in crypto. In crypto, there's so much insider trading, it's not even funny because it's anonymous, right? So if you see things randomly pumping, there's probably a reason for it. They just don't want to tell you. So I'm looking forward to capturing all these different trends. But my brain, when I was leverage trading, wasn't working properly. I made some gains, but trust me, I would have made much more had I just held the assets. It's not that complicated. Crypto is already a leveraged position on the government's inability to actually function properly. And I'm pretty bullish on that. So yeah, I do think that there's going to be a lot of different things that are going to pop the heck off. And there's no reason for me to 10x leverage on anything, because plenty of these plays will 10x, but in the process of it 10xing, it goes down 80, 90, 95%. I'm not going to 10x Gala. That is absurd, right? That's like the worst decision you could ever make. Why wouldn't you just hold it? Stop complicating your life so much. So that's what I'm doing. That's my thesis on trading, as well as a dude that comes from economics. And talking about economics, I know a lot about numbers, and I'm looking at the chat. 94 viewers. We're at fresh all-time high viewership on this live stream, guys. Smash the like button. Let's get over 100 before this live stream ends. Make it a happy Thanksgiving. And thoughts of GFAL during the peak of the bull. GFAL is something that has a tokenomic structure that right now is favorable for us. Is it going to be favorable for us during the bull market? It's going to get a little iffy. The supply, it's going to do its thing. So I can see it going up with the rest of the bull market. Here's the thing. people are going to keep asking me this with different coins and different things, and I can give you random numbers all day, okay? The reality is I don't know how much something can go up. That's the easiest way of going about it. I don't know how much this thing can go up. I know that the potential for it is astronomical. I've been a part of 100x plays. I've owned them before. I owned Axie Infinity, right? Like, I understand. I own Axie, right? The PGX token went crazy, and Viz and all that stuff. You know, I can't tell you if it's going to 100x. Did I know Axie was going to 100x when I got into it? No. I literally took some profit when it 2x'd, and I held a moon bag, and it happened to go up a lot. I sold when it was up like 50x. I didn't get the full 100x. I'm cool with that, though. I'm more than happy because I got into that trade with the mindset that I was only going to like 2x my investment, but it ended up being much better. So the market cap of the entire space right now is $13 billion. And this is why I tell a lot of people that we're still like stupid early. Look at this valuation. 13 billion. Are we serious right now? 13 billion? Come on. Look at Dogecoin. Come on. Look, Cardano. Come on. You're really gonna bundle up the entire crypto gaming space and say it's valued the same as Cardano? No. Like, crypto gaming is such a bigger narrative. It's a much bigger, significantly bigger, magnitudes bigger. And I own Cardano, but crypto gaming is such a big narrative that minimum in a bull market, if this thing's gonna go minimum 100 to 500 billion dollars in market cap. And that's just depending on what Bitcoin decides to do and how much it wants to run. I would not be surprised to see a crypto gaming coin in the top 10 this bull cycle. That's not something beyond me, right? Or maybe an ecosystem that dedicates itself just to crypto gaming. That's not something that like would phase me. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. If Immutable X magically hit all-time highs and it passed the likes of Solana, cool. I mean, if the games are that good, then it deserves that valuation. So I'm not really afraid of getting into things right now, only because I'm expecting so much more from this market. There's a reason that I decided to go all in on crypto gaming. This is a market that I think is still really fresh and still a market that I think there's a lot of potential into. Other than playable, Gala, Mirria, what other nodes are there to get into? Okay, it's a good question. I'll give you a couple. So 𝐶𝐞𝐳 is, I talked to them very recently, and these guys are doing nodes. At some point, I think they're teasing nodes or something. I don't know how it's going to work, but they've been doing pretty well during the cycle. Like, they've been kind of just doing a little bit of nothing, but that's a really good thing when we're looking into possible nodes, because nodes tend to amplify effects. They tend to amplify price action significantly. So them doing it, that's cool. They're announcing it a little bit later on. Other people that maybe I can talk about, if I can find this. Okay, I can't tell you about it yet. I can't tell you about it. Okay, I'll tell you about it in the future, though. I've been calls with people, right? And I'm helping advise for a couple projects, and there's going to be one with nodes. That one's going to be super exciting. I know that... Let me correct myself. So Elysium had nodes. Okay, that makes sense. And then... Honestly, I'll be honest with you. In terms of the node ecosystem plays, I want to wait until new releases come out. That's the thing with me. Like, I already have my Mirria nodes. I already have my playable nodes. I already have my possible positions to get into Gala nodes, right? I think I missed the boat on Gala nodes, right? I'm probably never going to own a founder's node. It's just the sad reality of being classy, right? But I am looking at these things that are going to be launching next year. I'm going to be owning a heck of a lot of them. I remember I picked up this like Sonorous node that I ended up covering on the channel as well, and it was like a $600 floor or something like that. Those had a pretty good ROI. Like it's like a couple months or something like that. So things like that I'm looking into. Someone told me about, excuse me. So this ecosystem that was called 𝐿𝐴𝐼 in the crypto gaming space, that one is also going to have nodes as well. I didn't really like how they structured their actual white paper. It made me very uncomfortable. So I'm just going to be looking at it and seeing what happens. But I mean, $300 nodes, right? So I'm going to be definitely looking into that one, seeing what happens with the actual token. I don't know what's going on with the cliffs and the percentage of the supply that goes away on TGE. I don't know, which is why I'm super hesitant to get into plays like that. But these are things that are on my radar right now that I may get into at some point. May get into at some point. What's good, hustle? And by the way, guys, if you haven't already, okay, listen, we all gonna make it out here. Let me give you that shout out, dude. I am proud of you because I have felt alone in the space for too damn long. We've got Hustlepedia, which recently rebranded his channels and his socials to In the Game. This guy has been absolutely killing it over the past couple of weeks, and dude, like, this guy's been an OG. He deserves all the success that he's gotten. His Tune NFTs going crazy. His Neo Tokyo little collaboration, killer dude. You're killing it in the space. I gotta get you on sometime. This is literally our second episode here, so we're kind of vibing out. 89 people over here. Happy Thanksgiving. But dude, like, it's been lonely. It's been very lonely in the actual YouTube space, and it's nice to see more people winning and more people covering things that I'm excited about. So hopefully you continue to be just a crypto gaming dude, because I think that crypto gaming is going to be dope, and I'm sure that you think the same thing. So let's fucking kill it. Let's do it. I'm just excited. I'm excited. Dude, everything has been going crazy. I talked to Hustle on Twitter super duper quick the other day, and we were talking about how YouTube views were like an indicator for the performance of the crypto gaming market. And dude, like, literally it is. The market is running right now, and we're hitting all-time high viewership on our stream. Literally all-time high viewership on our stream. So of course, yeah, like, this is a direct indicator of what's to come. Now, maybe it's a coincidence because we are doing our second stream, and the first stream was smaller than the second. We haven't done enough of a sample size to actually understand it, but I'm excited. Before I get out, I will do two more here very quickly. Decentralized search engine, not gaming. Fair enough. That makes sense. But it still kind of lies into the whole gaming thing. So let's talk about LitLab. So LitLab is doing that thing with Cyber Titans. They're also a crypto gaming ecosystem. I believe they're trying to do multiple things, right? They're trying to be a publisher and a studio. Web 2.5, which, when you're branding yourself as Web 2.5, do realize that you have now peaked in popularity, because the Web 2 gamers might love you, but the Web 3 speculators that are going to make you go to the stratosphere, those guys, maybe a little bit different, maybe a little bit harder to convince, but they're doing really well, okay? So I'm not going to deny that at all. Their volume has dropped off over the past month. It's kind of like doing a little bit of nothing. So I'm kind of wondering, like, why this greater move happened. I'm looking at this ecosystem and waiting for Cyber Titans to make more of an impact and more of a splash on the scene, because I feel like it's still a very small thing in the grand scheme of things. But dude, when these things are worth $9 million, like, anything you touch will just pump. So we'll see what happens here. I don't currently have LitLab games on my portfolio, but this is something like, it's just like most other plays. It's got that circulating supply that's really low. It's got that fully diluted that's crazy. You click on the little white paper button. You look at what LitLab's doing. You got to look at the emissions rate. If the emissions rate's fine, then sure, like, I'll go ahead and get into it at some point. In terms of tokenomics, it's at page 21. So let's actually go all the way to page 21. So let's see this. So advisory, 6.7. Team, this is all pretty standard. All of this is pretty standard. They sold a pretty decent chunk of their supply off of their angel seed strategic rounds. I'm guessing they were at a lower valuation, so that makes sense. In terms of their token vesting, they came out, what is this? So 2023 over there, and now it's been somewhere on 6 months since DGE. So right now we have probably a 2x in supply over the next 6 months, and then by the height of the bull market, we will have like 3-4x supply. Dude, this thing could easily 10x. Like, if they actually go through with the damn game, like, anything that just breathes decent tokenomics and breathes publisher will just 10x in a bull cycle, dude. So I'm looking forward to these things. Last cryptocurrency I will look at is Citus. This thing's valued at a $37 million market cap with a fully diluted of $135 million. Just like I did with the last project, you literally just go on the white paper. You've got to understand, like, how deep are they going into these things? In terms of the token sale, what happened here? 35.5% of the supply going to the ecosystem. Oh, that's wonderful. I love that. The team's getting 21%. Oh, that's a lot, right? The private round was 11%. No, that's a pretty big chunk of the supply. The pre-public round was 8.5%. That's a lot of supply as well. So they had a metric ton of supply that ended up going to people that got in very early. You know, partners, advisors, cool, 3%, not that big of a deal. Public sale, 2%. They gave a lot of their supply away. In terms of their gaming token, right? It makes sense, right? It's a DAO token. In terms of the gaming token, what happened here? A lot of the same thing, right? Pre-public round, seed round, private round. So what are the actual unlocks looking like? Are they going to tell us? If so, then okay, maybe there's something here. I can't actually see it right now. I have to look into this more. I don't own Citus, so take it with a grain of salt. But when these things have like a huge percentage of the supply actually given out to people, you know, within the ecosystem on the early rounds, it just means that like there's going to be a little bit more friction when this thing runs. That's all it's going to be. This thing's been around for a long time. So, you know, I mean, you've seen it for yourself, what happens when something is around for this long and it has a crazy amount of its supply there. But the thing is, at the same time, if you want me to riz you up a little bit, I will tell you that I think a lot of these different ecosystems that had their little bear market, that maybe they were hyperinflationary at some point, maybe they didn't have the best tokenomics, if they were around for a long time, it don't matter. A lot of those guys and VCs, etc., they probably dumped their bags because these guys get very impatient during bear cycles. So I'm net bullish on Citus, is what I'm trying to say. If that's what you're getting at, I'm definitely net bullish on Citus. Gala prices poop these days. I love that poop. Diamond hands, my friend. Yeah, Gala is a very small part of the overall portfolio. This is not my portfolio, by the way. It's a lot more than just this. But yeah, just generally speaking, it's there's a lot to look forward to, and there's a decent amount of times. We have enough time to talk about these things, so I'm not freaking it out. Much love, brother. 𝐷𝐞𝐿. Hell yeah. But that's going to be the conclusion of this live stream. We're going to be streaming tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern time. Last thing I want to go ahead and say, enjoy your Thanksgiving. Have fun with your family. And let's get some gains tomorrow. So until the next time, stay classy. And that's